Tell me if this sounds familiar. You wake up in the morning, and the mirror reflects someone you barely recognize. The body that once carried you with confidence, energy, and ease now creaks, hesitates, and groans with every movement. Your knees feel stiffer, your back a little tighter, and even the simple act of standing feels like a small accomplishment. Each step seems heavier, each motion slower, and for a fleeting second, you feel as if time itself has conspired to steal the vitality you once took for granted. You shuffle to the kitchen, pour a cup of coffee, and for a moment the house feels quieter than it used to. Not peaceful quiet. There's something heavier in this silence. It's the kind of silence that makes you remember the days when life was louder, when laughter filled the rooms, when friends called spontaneously, when responsibilities and challenges made you feel alive and needed. And now, the quiet seems to amplify the question you don't want to admit aloud. Is this it? Is this all there is left for me? Later, you scroll through social media, and the images pierce deeper than you expected. People half your age are running marathons, lifting weights with effortless form, twisting into yoga poses that seem designed for someone else's body, someone else's youth. And in that moment, a small voice whispers, almost shamefully, "I used to be able to do that. What happened to me?" If you've ever felt that pang of loss, felt the creeping fear that the best years of your life might already be behind you, if you've ever wondered if your body, and maybe even your life, is quietly slipping away, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share may challenge everything you thought you knew about aging, strength, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Meet Dorothy. She's 92 years old, and every single day without fail, she does 200 push-ups. Yes, you heard that right, 200. Not for a video, not for likes or applause, but because she refuses to let age dictate what her body and her spirit can do. Because each push-up is her declaration. I am here. I am capable. I am alive. And watching her, you realize this is not just about strength or fitness. It's about defying expectations, rewriting the story we tell ourselves about what it means to grow older, and discovering that vitality is not something we lose with age. It's something we cultivate every single day with courage, commitment, and an unyielding will. So if you've ever doubted yourself, questioned your potential, or felt the quiet ache of what might have been, then let Dorothy's story be a wake-up call, a spark, a reminder that life doesn't end at any age, it transforms. And sometimes, the most extraordinary chapters are yet to be written. Section 1. Setting the scene. Dorothy's daily ritual. Let me take you into Dorothy's world. Imagine walking into a home that feels alive not because of noise or clutter, but because of intention. A simple kitchen filled with sunlight, a cozy living room with books stacked carefully on the shelves, a quiet corner that seems almost sacred. It's here in this modest, unassuming space that Dorothy performs what might seem impossible to most of us. 200 push-ups every single day. Now pause for a moment. Picture this. The sun hasn't even fully risen, but Dorothy is already on the floor. Her hands press firmly against the mat, her back straight, her eyes calm, yet focused. 1. Push-up. 2. 10. 50. She doesn't rush. She doesn't show off. There's no music blaring, no timer ticking, just Dorothy, her breath, and a rhythm that has been honed through decades of consistency and discipline. And here's the thing, she isn't doing this because she has to. She isn't motivated by competition or accolades. She isn't trying to prove anything to anyone but herself. Each push-up is a quiet act of defiance against the slow, subtle erosion that aging can bring. Each repetition whispers a message to the world, and more importantly, to herself, I am still here. I am still strong. I am still capable. Watching her move, you notice something else. There's grace in her effort, a calm intensity that comes from someone who has lived long enough to understand that true strength is not just physical. It's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual. The body may carry us through life, but it is the mind and the will that determines how fully we live. And Dorothy has cultivated both in abundance. Her routine is almost ritualistic. She begins with a few stretches, feeling her joints awaken. Her muscles remember what they were born to do. She focuses on her breath, grounding herself in the present moment, fully inhabiting her body. Then, she begins her push-ups, not in a frenzy, but with purpose, mindfulness, and gratitude. Every movement is intentional, every repetition a statement. Life is not measured by age, but by vitality, resilience, and the courage to keep moving forward. And when she finishes, there's a soft smile on her face, a quiet satisfaction that doesn't need an audience. That's the magic of Dorothy's practice. It's not about impressing anyone else. It's about showing up for herself, honoring her body, and reclaiming a vitality that society often assumes is gone after a certain age. Dorothy's 200 push-ups are more than a workout. They are a metaphor for life itself. Each push-up represents persistence, courage, and the refusal to accept limitations imposed by time or expectation. And as you watch her, you begin to realize that the story she's telling is not just hers. It's a story that all of us can write, no matter our age, no matter our physical condition, no matter the fears that whisper in our ears. It's too late. Because Dorothy is living proof that it's never too late to reclaim your strength, redefine your potential, and embrace the extraordinary possibilities that exist in every single day. Section 2, Facing the Fear. What aging really feels like. Now, let's pause and talk about something most of us rarely say out loud. Fear. Not the dramatic, Hollywood-style fear, but the quiet, creeping kind that settles into your bones as you grow older. That subtle, almost invisible anxiety that whispers, "Am I losing it? Am I slowing down too much? Is this all life has left for me?" Dorothy knows that fear intimately, but she doesn't let it dictate her life. In fact, every push-up she does is her way of confronting it head-on. Because aging isn't just about wrinkles or gray hair, it's about the internal struggle that sneaks into your mind when the body no longer moves as effortlessly as it once did. It's about the silent comparisons to the younger versions of yourself, the people around you, the media images that seem to define success or strength. Maybe you felt this too. You wake up and the mirror tells a story you didn't expect. Your hands look different, your posture isn't quite the same, and there's a heaviness in your chest that wasn't there before. You scroll through social media or glance at a younger colleague and feel the unspoken tension of what you've lost. And deep down, you start to question your own relevance. Am I still capable? Am I still important? Dorothy's response to these fears is simple but profound. She moves. She refuses to be paralyzed by doubt. Each push-up is a tangible answer to the question, yes, I am still capable. Yes, I am still alive. Yes, I can still create change in my body, my mind, and my life. There's a lesson here for all of us. Fear is inevitable, especially as we age. But letting it win is optional. Dorothy doesn't just fight physical decline, she fights the internal narrative that says, "You're too old, too weak, too late." She refuses to internalize the stories society tells about aging. Instead, she rewrites her own story every morning, with every push-up, with every breath, and with every ounce of determination that flows through her veins. And here's the thing about fear. It often masks a deeper truth. Beneath the anxiety, there's a longing, a desire to feel alive, to feel strong, to feel like your body and your life still have meaning. Dorothy taps into that longing every single day. She acknowledges the fear but doesn't let it stop her. She transforms it into fuel, into motion, into vitality. So if you've ever been afraid that your best years are behind you, or that your body no longer has what it takes to thrive, know this: fear is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the spark that can ignite transformation if you face it with courage, intention, and unwavering commitment. Dorothy teaches us that aging doesn't have to be a story of decline. It can be a story of defiance, resilience, and radical vitality. And it all starts with one simple decision: to move, to act, and to reclaim the power that has always been inside you. Section 3. The Mind Behind the Muscle. Dorothy's Philosophy, If. You think Dorothy's 200 push-ups are just about physical strength, think again. The real power is in her mind. Calm, disciplined, unshakable. She often says, "It's not about how many push-ups I can do, it's about showing up for myself every single day." And in that simple sentence lies a profound truth about life, aging, and the human spirit. Let's be honest, our minds are our toughest opponents. It's one thing to confront aging physically. It's another to face the internal narrative that tells you, you're too old, you're too tired, you've missed your chance. That's the voice most of us hear in the quiet moments of the morning. The subtle doubts that creep in when we compare ourselves to our younger selves or to others. Dorothy doesn't ignore that voice. She welcomes it. She acknowledges it, studies it, and then gently pushes back. Each push-up is her way of whispering to herself, "I am capable. I am resilient. I am not done." She treats her body not as a burden or a fading relic of youth, but as a sacred vessel, one that carries her through decades of life, and one that deserves respect, attention, and challenge. Her mindset is a masterclass in discipline and self-compassion. She doesn't measure herself against anyone else. She doesn't chase applause or admiration. She measures herself by her own commitment, her own consistency, her own ability to rise, even when the body feels heavy, even when the mind doubts. Think about that for a moment. How often do we let our minds dictate our limits? How often do we stop ourselves before we even try, whispering excuses like "I can't, I'm too old," or "it's too late"? Dorothy's secret isn't some mystical superhuman ability. It's a choice to confront those doubts with action, to meet fear, hesitation, and societal expectation with movement, intention, and unwavering self-respect. And there's a deeper lesson here, one that stretches far beyond push-ups. Dorothy's philosophy can apply to any challenge, physical, emotional, or mental. It's the idea that vitality is not a gift reserved for youth. It's not measured by age, by comparison, or by what society deems appropriate. Vitality is cultivated, nurtured, and defended by the choices we make each day. Dorothy's mind and body work in harmony. The push-ups strengthen more than her arms and core. They strengthen her belief in herself, her ability to face discomfort, and her determination to keep moving forward despite what anyone or any number might say about what's possible at 92. Her message is clear. Strength is not defined by the outside world. It is defined by the courage to keep showing up, the discipline to honor your body, and the will to refuse to let fear, doubt, or age dictate your story. And as you watch her, you start to realize something incredible. This isn't just about push-ups. It's about reclaiming control over your life, over your choices, over your story. Dorothy is proof that when the mind and body align with purpose, the possibilities are limitless, no matter your age. Section 4. The Transformative Power. How 200 push-ups shape more than the body. It's easy to look at Dorothy and see only the physical feat, the strength in her arms, the endurance in her core. But the real transformation goes far beyond the mirror. It's subtle, profound, and deeply human. Every push-up she completes does something more than build muscle. It builds resilience. It builds confidence. It builds a quiet but unshakable joy in simply showing up for herself. She moves her body, yes, but she also moves her mind, her spirit, and her sense of possibility. Consider how many of us go through life waiting for the right moment to start something. An exercise routine, a new hobby, a dream we've postponed. We wait until tomorrow, until the pain goes away, until the circumstances are perfect. Dorothy doesn't wait, she acts. She doesn't let excuses or fear dictate her story. In doing so, she reminds us that transformation isn't a distant goal. It's a series of small, committed actions taken day after day, and the effects ripple through every part of her life. Her energy in the morning isn't just physical, it's mental. Her clarity of thought, her ability to tackle challenges, even her interactions with friends and family are all sharpened by the discipline and focus she cultivates through her daily practice. There's a vibrancy to her being, a lightness that comes not from youth but from purpose, consistency, and self-respect. Dorothy's 200 push-ups are also a lesson in humility and self-awareness. She doesn't perform them to prove anything to the world. She performs them to honor herself, to remind herself that her body, though aged, worn, and weathered, is still capable of extraordinary feats. And in honoring her own potential, she inspires everyone around her to reconsider what is possible in their own lives. The benefits extend beyond the personal. Dorothy's dedication becomes contagious. Family members, friends, even strangers witness her commitment and are quietly challenged to reflect on their own lives. What limits have we accepted? What fears have held us back? Dorothy's daily ritual is a reminder that we each hold the power to redefine what's possible, no matter our age, no matter our past, and no matter the doubts that linger in our minds. And here's the truth. Transformation like this doesn't happen overnight. It's not dramatic or flashy. It's gradual, patient, and deeply rooted in consistency. Every single push-up is a step toward reclaiming vitality, confidence, and purpose. Every repetition is a quiet affirmation. I am capable. I am strong. I am alive. Watching Dorothy, you begin to understand that the story of aging doesn't have to be about decline. It can be about reclamation, reinvention, and rediscovery. She proves that the body and mind can continue to grow, strengthen, and flourish, even well into your 90s. And as you sit with that thought, you realize it applies to you too. You may not be doing 200 push-ups tomorrow or ever, but the principle remains the same. Showing up consistently, challenging yourself, and embracing the process transforms more than your body. It transforms your confidence, your self-image, your sense of possibility, and ultimately, the way you live each day. Dorothy's story isn't just inspiring, it's a blueprint, a reminder that age is not the enemy, fear is not the boss, and every small action taken with intention can create profound, lasting change. Section 5. Persistence and the power of daily commitment. There's a quiet magic in persistence. Dorothy didn't wake up one morning at 92 and suddenly decide to do 200 push-ups. It took years, decades even, of cultivating the habit of showing up for herself, of honoring her body, and of refusing to let excuses dictate her life. Her story reminds us that extraordinary feats are rarely sudden. They are the sum of countless, small, consistent actions. Think about the obstacles Dorothy faces every day. Some days her joints ache, her energy dips, her body protests with every movement. Some mornings, the world seems heavier, and it would be easy, so very easy, to skip a session, to tell herself, I'll start tomorrow. But she doesn't. She moves anyway. She reminds herself that persistence isn't about perfection, it's about commitment, even when the world whispers, you're too old, you're too tired, you can't. And here's what's profound. Persistence reshapes more than the body. It reshapes the mind. Each day she shows up, she strengthens her self-discipline, her focus, and her belief in what she's capable of achieving. The act of showing up becomes a meditation, a reaffirmation of self-worth, and a declaration that life is not over. It's evolving, growing, and full of possibility. Consider this analogy. Life is a mountain, and each push-up is a deliberate step upward. One push-up alone doesn't change the view, doesn't reach the summit, doesn't make the climb effortless. but hundreds, repeated daily, slowly lift you higher, revealing vistas you once thought were unreachable. Dorothy's 200 push-ups are her steps, her deliberate climbs toward vitality, strength, and self-mastery. And every day she teaches us that it's never too late to start your ascent. Persistence also teaches patience. Dorothy doesn't demand immediate results, and she doesn't compare herself to others. She understands that transformation, physical, mental, or emotional, is a marathon, not a sprint. And in that patience, she uncovers a profound joy, the satisfaction of seeing progress not in sudden leaps, but in small, tangible improvements that accumulate over time. There's also an emotional depth in her commitment. Each push-up carries more than muscle. It carries hope, defiance, and a celebration of life itself. It's her way of saying to herself and the world, I am here. I am capable. I am living fully each and every day. And in that declaration, she invites everyone watching to reflect. What is your push-up? What small, consistent action could you commit to today that might transform your life tomorrow? Persistence, as Dorothy demonstrates, is about honoring yourself, defying societal expectations, and refusing to let age or fear dictate your limits. It's a radical act of self-love. Every repetition reinforces not only the body, but also the belief that your life, at any age, can be full of purpose, energy, and vitality. And that's the real lesson. Greatness is rarely about the grand gesture. It's about showing up consistently, day after day, choosing courage over comfort, movement over inertia, and belief over doubt. Dorothy didn't just build a strong body, she built a strong life. Section 6. Lessons for every age, applying. Dorothy's wisdom to your life. Dorothy's 200 push-ups are more than a testament to physical strength. They are a roadmap for living a life of purpose, vitality, and courage at any age. And the beauty of her story is that the principles she embodies aren't reserved for 92-year-olds. They can be applied to your life, right here, right now. The first lesson is showing up consistently. You don't need to perform 200 push-ups to transform your life. You simply need to commit to showing up for yourself each day, in whatever way your body, mind, and heart need. A walk, a stretch, a phone call to a loved one, journaling, or learning a new skill. Every small action compounds over time. Dorothy's life reminds us that consistency is the bridge between dreams and reality, between intention and accomplishment. The second lesson is embracing discomfort as a teacher. Every push-up Dorothy does challenges her muscles, her joints, and her mind. And yet, she leans into that challenge, recognizing that growth comes not from comfort, but from resistance. In life, discomfort is inevitable. Physical aging, personal setbacks, or emotional struggles. Dorothy shows us that leaning into discomfort, rather than avoiding it, is the pathway to resilience and empowerment. The third lesson is defying societal expectations. Dorothy lives in a world that often tells older adults to slow down, to take it easy, to step back. She refuses to accept those limits, instead showing that age is not a cage, it's a context. Our society may set expectations about what's appropriate for our stage of life, but Dorothy's story reminds us that the only limits that truly matter are the ones we accept ourselves. The fourth lesson is honoring the body as a lifelong companion. Dorothy treats her body with respect, care, and intention. Every push-up is an act of gratitude and acknowledgement that her body carries her story, her experiences, and her potential. When we honor our bodies through movement, nourishment, rest, and mindfulness, we cultivate a foundation for vitality, confidence, and longevity. And finally, the fifth lesson is the power of mindset. Dorothy's strength is not just in her muscles, it is in her mind. She believes in possibility, consistency, and her own agency. She views challenges not as roadblocks, but as invitations to grow. This mindset transforms not only her body, but her life. And it can transform yours too. Imagine what could happen if you embrace just one of these principles today. Imagine if you committed to a small, consistent action, leaned into a challenge, or refused to accept the limits society has placed on you. Dorothy's story is proof that extraordinary outcomes are possible at any stage of life. Not through luck, not through talent alone, but through intention, discipline, and belief in yourself. Her journey teaches us that aging doesn't mean slowing down. It can mean rising to new heights. It reminds us that life is not about what we have lost, but about what we are still capable of achieving. Every day is an opportunity to reclaim strength, joy, and purpose. And here's the most beautiful truth. Dorothy's story isn't unique because of her age. It's unique because of her courage, her commitment, and her refusal to accept limits. Those qualities exist in every one of us. They just need to be awakened, nurtured, and acted upon. As you reflect on Dorothy's life, consider this your invitation. What is your push-up? What small, deliberate, daily action could you take today that would honor your body, mind, and spirit? Because in those small acts of persistence, courage, and consistency lies the extraordinary potential to transform not just your body, but your entire life. Conclusion: the legacy of strength and the invitation to act as. We sit with Dorothy's story, something becomes clear. What she has achieved is not just about push-ups. It's about a mindset, a commitment, and a way of seeing life that refuses to be limited by age, fear, or doubt. Her story whispers to us in a language that transcends numbers and repetitions. It speaks to the part of us that longs to feel alive, capable, and seen, no matter how many birthdays have passed. Perhaps you felt the creeping fear of aging, the quiet ache of, what if my best years are behind me? Dorothy's life is a living rebuttal to that fear. It shows us that vitality is not about youth. It's about presence, persistence, and the willingness to act. Each push-up, each small step she takes, carries a profound lesson. Life is never over. It is always unfolding, always offering new ways to grow, to challenge, and to celebrate ourselves. And the lessons don't stop with her. They extend to you. You don't have to lift 200 push-ups a day to experience the transformation Dorothy has discovered. The principles are yours to adopt. Show up consistently, embrace discomfort, honor your body, defy limits, and nurture a mindset that sees possibility where others see decline. In doing so, you can reclaim energy, confidence, and purpose at any age. There's also a deeper, quieter gift in stories like Dorothy's. The wisdom of those who have lived long, who have faced challenges, and who continue to rise. By listening, learning, and connecting with these elders, we gain insight into what truly matters: discipline, courage, gratitude, and resilience. These are the echoes of elderly wisdom, calling to us, guiding us to a life richer than we imagined. So, here's my invitation to you. Let Dorothy's story inspire your own. Let it spark a commitment to action, no matter how small. And if you want to continue hearing these stories of strength, resilience, and the power of living fully, join our community by subscribing to Echoes of Elderly Wisdom. Together, we can learn from those who have walked the path before us, gather their insights, and apply them to our own journey, creating lives filled with vitality, purpose, and meaning. Remember, age is not the limit, fear is not the master, and your potential is far greater than you realize. Dorothy's story is living proof, and it's just the beginning. Subscribe today and let the echoes of elderly wisdom guide you to your own extraordinary life. Because the time to start living fully is not tomorrow, it's now.